We are live right now. It has been a little bit. It's been a couple days, been pumping out some videos. So I'm excited to interact with a bunch of you idiots tonight. By popular demand, by popular request from my Telegram group, we are going to hang out. Let me go ahead and share this damn link. YouTube, blah, blah, blah. All right. Your videos. Okay. Go to my channel. There we are. And let me turn this off. Cool. All right. Let's see what chat has to say. Terrafin, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Terrafin? Rolly 30. What's up? What's up? What's up? I love seeing my DJs, man. I missed y'all dumbasses. I haven't chatted with you in a little bit. Just haven't. That's crazy. Yo, yo, yo. Rolly 30. What are we talking about tonight? Well, I'm gonna give you guys the option what we talk about. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm coolin'. I'm chilling. Let me share this stuff on my Twitter real quick. You guys share the link for me. I'm live. I'm live. Whose toes am I stepping on tonight? Let's check Hex streamers. Matty Allen, 491 people. I expect probably 10% of that. But it's 10% of the loyal ones. That's important. Davis is here tonight. That's actually interesting. Yeah, I know. Davis is here. Cape Figure. Dude, what's up, man? Yep. Rolly 30. What's good? What's good? Naga Tribe, get ready for these jackpots. I'm ready for these jackpots, man. They're about to launch. You talking about PulseX and Pulse? That's some damn jackpots. Big fan. Yeah. Bro, what's up, man? What's up? Davis. So I thought about putting a NASA logo in the background just for you, Davis, but I figured you wouldn't be on tonight. Thanks for that $10, brother. Thank you. Shared on my Telegram. Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing on my Telegram. You're part of my Telegram. That's your responsibility now. Yeah, so I told so what happened here? Yo, just shared the link, had the leg shaving and drinking wine go. Everybody wanted me to get on tonight. So I go back in my Telegram chat here. And they said, yo, Rags, when you going live? I said, I'm going to take a bath. I'm going to shave my legs. I'm going to drink some wine. I'll be there tonight. I'm going to take my time. All right. I got to get dolled up. I got to just take care of myself. But here we are. Maddie's show over. All right. Your videos suck. Thank you. I appreciate that. See, I'm making money already. Moneymaker. Row. Hey, man, you're too good. Also very honest. I'm just like you folks. That's all that is. No more honesty than you. Just normal people out here. If y'all saw something jacked up, you'd say something. You'd punch somebody in the mouth. So I punched him in the mouth. Unapologetic about that. Dude, Balliot, Brand, what's up, Balliot? Jackpot team win. Hell yeah. Terrafin, just doing Terrafin things. What's up? Super Chad, let's go, Brandon, Billy Boy Crypto. Thank you so much, man. That never gets old. It's so weird to have this be like an ATM machine. Just turn it on. I like talking to you guys. That's why I do it. Otherwise, I would not be on here. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to read to you tonight. But before we read, if you guys have any questions about anything that's going down, let me know. I'm making a video right now on bridges. If you guys were around for the last video I made, I tried to break things down really, really simply. I really try to make it so everybody can understand, no matter if you've been in crypto or not. So yeah, Naga, you keep it real, straight to the point, dude. I just learned from you, bro. I just learned from you. I saw something. Shoot. I call. What do you say? You said something really badass the other week, and I used it in one of my streams. I said this came from Naga. Shoot, man. How was old Robert Kiyosaki, Naga? And I didn't know you were in the military too. I did not know that. We can talk crypto. You guys ask me questions. You want to talk crypto, you ask me questions. Otherwise, it's story time with Uncle Brandon tonight. I'm gonna give you guys the option what you want to hear about. Yeah. Oh wait, what did I say? Great. Trying to go to bed early. Rags is alive. I know, man. I'm sorry. Go to bed. It's not worth it. Just go to bed. That's going to be the best possible thing you could do. Best possible thing. I assure you. All right. If you only had a couple thousand hex now, would you stake them on ETH chain or wait till after Pulse launch? Bridge them over and stake all on PulseChain. I stopped trading a long time ago. I stopped trying to time the market. I'm going to be straight up with you. If I had a couple thousand hex right now, I'd probably hold it liquid, get the copy, and then stake from there. And if it's only a couple thousand hex, you got to get those T shares, because those T shares, they'll set you free in a big way. So I'd send it out, man. I launched that bad boy out probably 5, 10, 15 years for sure, because you probably don't need that. You can't stake bridge hex. Yeah, so just get your copies, like I said. What is this? ETH fees will kill you on staking. You're going to get a copy of. Why would you not get a copy? I'd want to get a copy. It's pretty simple. It's only a couple thousand hex. I want to get that copy over. And the thing is too, like, after it launches, you might want to push your ETH over. You might want to bridge it over. So it'd be nice to have it on both chains from the start, and you could choose to do what you want with it from there. That's just me. I don't time the markets. I don't care. I'm happy with Hex. I'm in the most positive feedback loop of all time, and I don't have to worry about anything. Yeah, I figured you were driving tonight, Davis. I know you were driving last night too. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that's what you meant. That's why I was going to wait to avoid ETH fees and stake all on Pulse. Yeah. Well, get your copy. Don't get your copy. Yeah, you know what you're going to do. You got it. All right. Here's, do you guys know what a bridge is? I'd say that's probably my top question right now. What does this say? Can you explain for dummies exactly how the price mechanics will work on day one? Considering it is a bid-ask situation, man, that is complex. Part of this video that I'm making is going to touch on all that, but it's pretty daggone complex. I'm not going to lie. And the question is, we're going to have a bridge the first day, the first 2 days? We may not. So, one person came in my group today and they were like, hey, like, what if I want to trade the first 2 days and the bridge isn't live? What do I do? We have to have PLS for gas. So we kind of came up with the idea, maybe you just want to sack a very, very small amount of money to the PulseChain sacrifice address just to be able to get some copies of PLS over. You might go that route. So that way you can do some transactions, maybe like $5 or $10, sack, I don't know, 10 or 15 bucks. I just need to keep the hex in my wallet to get a copy. I would not get a copy if it's staked. You get a copy if it's staked too. If it's liquid or staked, you do get copies of that on the PulseChain. I just ended stake on Sunday and it hurt my head versus my bag size still up, but it was a considerable percentage. Guys, this is if you've seen some of the news, I mean, we might not have Ethereum 2.0, man. It couldn't have teed us up better. All those Ethereum users, they've just been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for Ethereum 2.0, and we're beating them to market right now. And it's going to be amazing for Pulse, because Pulse solves everybody's pain. Pulse solves everybody's pain on the Ethereum side. And I'll be honest with you guys, it's up to you in the chat. It's up to you in the chat to talk to your friends. It's up to you in the chat. Create content. Set up a freaking YouTube channel. Set up a YouTube channel. I'll teach you. I'll have you on my show. I don't care. We'll get you followers. Just start talking about it. And that's called the network effect, the networking effect as well. What we got here? At CSR, let's see. I'd stake it now. T-shares going up. You're being diluted. We may not launch mainnet in 3 months. I'd 100% send it now. Just me, though. All right. I'm so confused regarding the snapshot. I bought Hex in November. Do I get a copy still? Yes. It's not a snapshot. It's a fork. So it's a certain block number. Ethereum's moving along. Pulse is going to fork off. And along with that, we're going to have the system state copy, which means you're going to get all your NFTs. You're going to get all your coins, the same quantities, not necessarily the same amounts initially. But based on some of the research I've been doing, based on some of the people I've been talking to, I think that value is going to hit pretty quick. I was listening to Walrus today in one of the spaces, and he made some good points. He made some good points about that. The question is, well, how's anything going to have value if there's no dollar amounts backing up all that value? Well, here's what I told people, and it's all kind of tied together. I'm going to try to make it simple. So you get a copy of something, right, on the PulseChain. It's just sitting there. Let's say that you got an apple, you've got an orange, and you got a pear. And it's understood logically that the apple, orange, and pear have the same value. You don't know what that value is. Apple, orange, pear, same value. You don't know what the value is, right? Somebody comes along, they got a wad of cash. Let's just say they buy that orange for $1. Okay, apple, orange, pear. Somebody comes along, buys that orange for $1. So if they bought that orange for $1, what does that say at the very least about the price for the other two? You see how if there is a pathway back to liquidity, you see that chain reaction? Now it's assumed that those other two assets have a value of at least $1 or more. And in fact, I should probably use the example of two of each instead of one, because here's the thing. They bought that orange or they bought that apple. That means the other apple, if there's 6 total, 3 pairs, that means the other one that wasn't purchased just shot up in price, because the value of all of those has to be constant. If you take one away, how are you going to make that constant level out? You got to fix the equation. It means that one asset's going to shoot way up. So I think that after saying all that, we're going to see parity very quick. I'm just going to call it. I think it's going to be very, very, very quick. Really do. Just kidding. You're a handsome beast. Brandon, you're a lot smarter than you look. Ooh, you got to be careful there, man. You can't be giving me compliments like that. You got to be careful. Well, I don't think you're in the minority there, Ted Walker. All right. Will you get a copy of your stake text as well? You will get a copy of your stake text as well. Yeah. You're in my YouTube channel. Yeah. If you haven't heard, I've got a Telegram channel called NewTube, NUTUBE. And it's not as active as I'd like it to be, but we're starting to get some people come in. The whole point of that is, if you want to be a content creator, I will do everything I can to make sure that I teach you everything that I know. And I haven't been doing this long, but I picked up a lot of tips and tricks. We'll get you up and running. If you're making content that helps everybody out, that helps you out too, because you're doing something that's probably going to make you uncomfortable, which means you're going to grow. So YouTube's a good thing. NUTUBE on Telegram. All right. Sold 90% of my BTC for Hex. Outstanding. Out freaking standing. I can't say it enough. I cannot say it enough. So if you guys watched that, let me see if I got this file in here. Who is that female developer that was on the Matty Allen's conference, Hex conference? I watched her whole thing, man. She had some really, really, really good points. Some really, really good stuff. There it is. All right. I'll share this with you guys. You're probably not even going to be able to see it, to be quite honest, but I'll share it with you anyway. No, I don't want to invite guests. Share screen. Yeah, Chrome tab, Google Docs. All right. I'm assuming, let me make sure you guys can see that. Barely. It is what it is. Well, anyway, this, I love this. Okay. This is so simple. We're talking about Hex here. This is how you start out. You're over here in the ether. You got BTC, you got US dollars, you got euros, you got British pounds, you got China. You got something. All right. You get in the crypto ecosystem. You find Hex. You got now you buy unstaked Hex. It's unstaked. All right. So what do? We take that unstaked Hex, we shift it over to staked Hex, right? Staked Hex here. When it's staked, what's happening? Well, over time, we are basically dollar cost averaging in with the simulated compound interest that we have through the contract. Okay, assuming that you serve your time and you're not a dumbass, you don't do something to shoot yourself in the foot. That staked Hex becomes unstaked. Now you have more than when you started, and then you just repeat the process. Do you see the exponentiality in that? Do you see the power in that? You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go and you don't have to try to double your money. You don't have to make 1 million trades a year. All you got to do is sit back. And if you really want to get crazy with it, you can just dollar cost average into Hex. I mean, this is absolutely insane. So I really love this. It's very, very, very simple. And this is the dev that was on the Hex conference. She talked about bridges and vampire attacks and all that. Love it. All right, let's get back. Okay. Good morning. Oh, you must be 11:55. You must be in the UK. Yep. I'm gonna get some Hex and stake it, or should I sack for PLS? I don't know. Did you sack for PLS? PLSX? If you didn't stack for PLS, Richard straight up said it might be a good play to go ahead and get some PLSX, just so you can get some exposure to the chain as soon as it launches and go from there. This is also a topic that came up in that chat the other night, or actually earlier today. Most everybody that's listening to me right now has not been in the situation where they were a day one or pre-day one Genesis wallet holding MF, right? You've never been in on day one. The rules are different. Why are the rules different? Is because most likely, not necessarily the case, but most likely, whatever you sacked for, it's the best price, the best cost basis that you're ever going to have, right? The best cost basis you're ever going to have. Why would you want to destroy that? If I were in somebody's shoes who sacrificed and I got these big chunks, I'm going to let that stuff sit. I'm going to work my tail off. I'm going to get as much money as I can, and I'm going to dump it in every week, every 2 weeks. I'm going to dump it in, right? I'm not going to sell this stuff. There's no need. It's an incredible entry for most people. So the rules are different. You don't need to freak out. You don't need to try to time the market. There are going to be people that do that. If that's your cup of joe, then do it. But when you increase complexity like that, bad things happen. Especially when you don't have experience. And let's face it, a lot of you guys don't have experience being successful in crypto. And I'm not saying that from like a standpoint of being big-headed. I'm just saying that's like that's the statistics here. Richard Hart is the Donald Trump of crypto. Richard Hart is the Donald Trump of crypto. I could say stuff about that. I like Donald Trump, by the way. Just going to tell y'all straight up. I love him. Richard Hart is a lot smarter than Donald Trump. Let's just say that. PulseChain's going to harvest all the broke Gen Zs off TikTok due to ETH wanting all their money to buy $20 in crypto. Yeah. We've got the responsibility to help these MFers out, man. We got to. That's what we're going to be doing. All right. Whoa. There's a lot of stuff I can't just highlight here. All right. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you guys a question. God, gee, hold on. Romeo 2 Romeo is the stubbed big toe of crypto. Oh, what's up, man? What's up? How you doing, buddy? All right. Stop. All right, here we go. This is what we're going to do. We can do some Capitalist Manifesto tonight. It's one of my favorite books. Can pick out some stuff to read here. We can do some Jordan Peterson if you guys want. We'll go that route. All right. And we can do 48 Laws of Power. So you guys let me know what you want me to read to you a little bit here. So 48 Laws of Power, Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life, or Capitalist Manifesto. We got one vote for JP. Oh, Cot G, by the way, man, how you feeling, brother? Oh, you said you're feeling better. What's up, man? Yeah. I wish Jordan Peterson wasn't so verbose. Is he verbose? You guys can vote. What do you guys want here? What are we going to read? All right, I'll pick. We'll do a little bit of both. How about that? This book, The 48 Laws of Power, if you ever go to prison, this is probably the most read book in prison because it teaches you how to manipulate people. I think it's actually a very important read. And the reason I think it's a very important read is because it allows you to identify when you are being manipulated. It's one of the most powerful books. They say, like, Adam and Eve ate from the tree of the fruit of good and evil, and they were ashamed of themselves. And that's that whole unearned wisdom thing, I think. Like, when you're not ready for the wisdom and you're not ready for the experience, it jacks you up. So I'm going to read one story out of this, and then we're going to go to Peterson. Oh man, this is a hard read. I might have to take my glasses off for this. Let's see what laws we want to read about. The first one might be good. Big boy memorized that book. Oh, this one's good. This one's good, guys. I take my glasses off. Sorry. All right. So this is called never. It's law number 1. Never outshine the master. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior. In your desire to please and impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite, inspire fear and insecurity. Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the heights of power. This book is hard. It's difficult for me to read, like morally, internally, because a lot of this stuff is just it's high level manipulations. But again, it can also really help you figure out if you're being manipulated. Okay. Nicholas Louis XV, finance minister in the first years of his reign, was a generous man who loved lavish parties, pretty women, and poetry. He also loved money, for he led an extravagant lifestyle. Fouquet was clever and very much indispensable to the king. So when the prime minister, Jules Mazarin, died in 1661, the finance minister expected to be named the successor. Instead, the king decided to abolish the position. This and other signs made Fouquet suspect that he was falling out of favor. And so he decided to ingratiate himself with the king by staging the most spectacular party the world had ever seen. The party's ostensible purpose would be to commemorate the completion of Fouquet's chateau, Vallée-Vaucomate, but its real function was to pay tribute to the king, the guest of honor. The most brilliant nobility of Europe and some of the greatest minds of the time, La Fontaine, some crazy French word I can't pronounce, Madame de Sévigné, attended the party. Molière wrote a play for this occasion, in which he himself was to perform at the evening's conclusion. The party began with a lavish 7-course dinner featuring foods from the Orient, never before tasted in France, as well as new dishes created specifically for the night. The meal was accompanied by music commissioned by Fouquet to honor the king. After dinner, there was a promenade through the chateau's gardens. The grounds and fountains of Vallée-Vaucomate were to be the inspiration for Versailles. He personally accompanied the young king through the geometrically aligned arrangements of shrubbery and flower beds. Arriving at the garden's canals, they witnessed a fireworks display, which was followed by the performance of Molière's play. The party ran well into the night, and everyone agreed it was the most amazing affair that they had ever attended. The next day, Fouquet was arrested by the king's head musketeer. 3 months later, he went on trial for stealing from the country's treasury. Actually, most of the stealing he was accused of, he had done on the king's behalf and with the king's permission. Fouquet was found guilty and sent to the most isolated prison in France, high in the Pyrenees Mountains, where he spent the last 20 years of his life in solitary confinement. Interpretation. All right. Louis VI, the Sun King, was a proud and arrogant man who wanted to be the center of attention at all times. He could not countenance being outdone in lavishness by anyone, and certainly not his finance minister. To succeed Fouquet, Louis chose Jean-Baptiste Colbert, a man famous for his parsimony and for giving the dullest parties in Paris. Colbert made sure that any money liberated from the treasury went straight into Louis's hands. With the money, Louis built a palace even more magnificent than Fouquet, the glorious Palace of Versailles. He used the same architects, the same decorators, and the same garden designer. And at Versailles, Louis hosted parties even more extravagant than the one that cost Fouquet his freedom. Let us examine the situation. Let us examine the situation. The evening of the party, as Fouquet presented spectacle on spectacle to Louis, each more magnificent than the one before, he imagined the affair as demonstrating his loyalty and devotion to the king. Not only did he think the party would put him back in the king's favor, he thought it would show his good taste, his connections, and his popularity, making him indispensable to the king and demonstrating that he would make an excellent prime minister. Instead, each new spectacle, each appreciative smile bestowed by the guest on Fouquet made it seem to the king that his own friends and subjects were more charmed by the finance minister than by the king himself, and that Fouquet was actually flaunting his wealth and power. Rather than flattering Louis the king, Fouquet's elaborate party offended the king's vanity. Louis would not admit this to anyone, of course. Instead, he found a convenient excuse to rid himself of a man who had inadvertently made him feel insecure. Such is the fate, in some form or another, of all those who unbalance the master's sense of self, poke holes in his vanity, or make him doubt his preeminence. When the evening began, Fouquet was at the top of the world, and by the time it had ended, he was at the bottom. What are you talking about, Cot G? This is like watching me read Hooked on Phonics when I was in the 3rd grade. All right. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Oorah, what's up, man? Yeah. So that story is pretty interesting, right? How many of you have ever had like a boss? How many of you have ever had somebody that's been in charge of you that you felt like they wanted the attention all on them, right? And I think that's a very, very true statement. You got to be really, really careful. You got to size people up before you go all out, I think sometimes. And you know, the world teaches you to just show your cards these days, but sometimes it's not too smart to show your cards. Sometimes it's just smart to sit back and listen and see who you're dealing with. I've had some crazy bosses like that, I think. Hey man, please tell us the future price for PulseX. No, I can tell you it will be more than 0. I will give you that. Patience attains all that it strives for, so be patient, and good things might happen to you. Yeah. Sergio Velasquez. Yeah, every important mentor did that to me. Me too. You got to observe people, man. And here's the key. It's about, I'd say for 75% of people, it takes you 3 months to get to know them if you see them every day. For the other, I don't know, for the other probably 25%, so that's 95% total. The other 25% takes about 6 months. There is a small slither of the population who can hold it together forever before you find out who they really are. Those are the psychopaths. You got to be careful there. All right, we're going to read Peterson here. That low down dirty son of a gun. USMC. Ooh, Ra. What's up, man? God dang devil squid. Devil dog. All right. Glasses off. We'll see what we want to read now. What do we want to learn about? I'm not reading the lobster stuff. I'm not doing it. Well, they taught me how to use a book when I was young. Hooked on Phonics worked for me. That's good. Oh yeah, we're gonna go in, guys. This is what we're gonna do. Page 147. This is probably the lesson that the world needs to hear the most. God dang social justice warriors. All right. Rule number 6. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. A religious problem. It does not seem reasonable to describe the young man who shot 20 children and 6 staff members at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut in 2012 as a religious person. This is equally true for the Colorado theater gunman and the Columbine high school killers. But these murderous individuals had a problem with reality that existed at a religious depth. As one of the members of the Columbine duo wrote, "The human race isn't worth fighting for, only worth killing. Give the earth back to the animals. They deserve it infinitely more than we do. Nothing means anything anymore." It's like some nihilist type stuff. It's not good. People who think such things view being itself as inequitable and harsh to the point of corruption. And human being in particular is contemptible. They appoint themselves supreme adjudicators of reality and find it wanting. They are the ultimate critics. The deeply cynical writer continues, if you recall your history, the Nazis came up with final solutions to the Jewish problem. Kill them all. Well, in case you haven't figured it out, I say kill mankind. No one should survive. For such individuals, the world of experience is insufficient and evil, so to hell with everything. What is happening when someone comes to think in this manner? A great German play, Faust, a tragedy, written by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, addresses that issue. The play's main character, a scholar named Heinrich Faust, trades his immortal soul to the devil, Mephistopheles. In order to return, he receives whatever he desires while he's still alive on earth. So he sells his soul to the devil. I want to play guitar, man. I want to be the best bass fisherman ever. We got to do it. In Goethe's play, Mephistopheles is the eternal adversary of being. He has a central defining credo. I am the spirit who negates, and rightly so, for all that comes to me, and all that comes to be deserves to perish wretchedly. If we're better, nothing would begin. Thus, everything that your terms sin, destruction, evil represent, that is my proper element. How many of you know people that, like, that's their credo? They just freaking walk around trashing everybody, internet trolls, etc., etc. That's what they do, man. They don't like being. Goethe considered this hateful sentiment so important, so key to the central element of vengeful human destructiveness, that he had Mephistopheles say it a second time, phrased somewhat differently in part 2 of the play, written many years later. People often think in the Mephistophelian manner, although they seldom act on their thoughts as brutally as the mass murderers of schools, colleges, and theaters. Whenever we experience injustice, real or imagined, whenever we encounter tragedy or fall prey to the machinations of others, whenever we experience the horror and pain of our own apparently arbitrary limitations, the temptation to question being and then to curse it rises foully from the darkness. Imagine pretty much every rap album in the 1990s looking up at the sky. That's what that is. Why must innocent people suffer so terribly? Being, and then to curse it, rises foully from the darkness. What kind of bloody, horrible planet is this anyway? Life is in truth very hard. Everyone is destined for pain and slated for destruction. Sometimes suffering is clearly the result of a personal fault, such as willful blindness, poor decision-making, or malevolence. In such cases, when it appears to be self-inflicted, it may even seem just. People get what they deserve, you might contend. That's cold comfort, however, even when true. Sometimes, if those who are suffering change their behavior, then their lives would unfold less tragically. Wouldn't wipe it out, it's going to unfold less tragically. But human control is limited. Susceptibility to despair, disease, aging, and death is universal. In the final analysis, we do not appear to be architects of our own fragility. Whose fault is it then? People who are very ill, or worse, who have a sick child, will inevitably find themselves asking this question, whether they are religious believers or not. The same is true of someone who finds his shirt sleeve caught in the gears of a giant bureaucracy, who is suffering through a tax audit, or fighting an interminable lawsuit or divorce. And it's not only the obviously suffering who are tormented by the need to blame someone or something from the intolerable state of being. At the height of his fame, influence, and creative power, for example, the towering Leo Tolstoy himself began to question the value of human existence. He reasoned in this way: my position was terrible. I knew that I could find nothing in the way of rational knowledge except a denial of life, and in faith, I could find nothing except a denial of reason. And this was even more impossible than a denial of life. According to rational knowledge, it followed that life is evil, and people know it. They do not have to live, yet they have lived, and they do live, just as I myself lived, even though I had known for a long time that life is meaningless and evil. Try as he might, Tolstoy could identify only 4 means of escaping from such thoughts. One was retreating into childlike ignorance of the problem. So this is interesting. While I'm reading this, think about the people that have this kind of outlook on life. It's not worth it, right? And once you think about those people, think about which one of the following that you could hear them saying. So try as he might, Tolstoy could identify only 4 means of a meaning of escape from such thoughts. One was retreating into childlike ignorance of the problem. Another was pursuing mindless pleasure. We know about that. The third, continuing to drag out a life that is evil and meaningless, knowing beforehand that nothing can come of it. He identified that particular form of escape with weakness. The people in this category know that death is better than life, but they do not have the strength to act rationally and quickly to put an end to the delusion by killing themselves. Only the fourth and final mode of escape involves strength and energy. It consists of destroying life. Once one has realized that life is evil and meaningless, Tolstoy relentlessly followed his thoughts. Only unusually strong and logically consistent people act in this manner. Having realized all the stupidity of the joke that is being played on us, and seeing that the blessings of the dead are greater than those of the living, and that it is better not to exist, they act and put an end to the stupid joke. And they use any means of doing it: a rope around the neck, water, a knife in the heart, a train. Tolstoy wasn't pessimistic enough. The stupidity of the joke being played on us does not merely motivate suicide, it motivates murder, mass murder, often followed by suicide. That is far more effective existential protest. By June of 2016, unbelievable as it may seem, there had been 1,000 mass shootings, defined as 4 or more people shot in a single incident, excluding the shooter, in the U.S. in 1,260 days. That's one such event on 5 of every 6 days for more than 3 years. Everyone says, "We don't understand. How can we still pretend that?" Tolstoy understood more than a century ago. The ancient authors of the biblical story of Cain and Abel understood as well, more than 20 centuries ago. They describe murder as the first act of post-Edenic history, and not just murder, but fratricidal murder, which I guess is murder against your brother or sister. Murder not only of someone innocent, but of someone ideal and good, and murder done consciously despite the creator of the universe. Today's killers tell us the same thing in their own words. Who would dare say that this is not the worm at the core of the apple? But we will not listen because the truth cuts too close to the bone. Even for a mind as profound as that of the celebrated Russian author, there was no way out. How can the rest of us manage when a man of Tolstoy's stature admits defeat? For years he hid his guns from himself and would not walk with the rope in his hand in case he hanged himself. How can a person who's awake avoid the outrage of the world? Vengeance or transformation. A religious man might shake his fist in desperation at the apparent injustice and blindness of God. Even Christ himself felt abandoned before the cross, or so the story goes. A more agnostic or atheistic individual might blame fate or meditate bitterly on the brutality of chance. So, yeah, if you're agnostic or atheistic, you replace God with chance or fate. Another might tear himself apart, searching for the character flaws underlying his suffering and deterioration. These are all variations on a theme. The name of the target changes, but the underlying psychology remains constant. Why? Why is there so much suffering and cruelty? Well, perhaps it's really God's doing, or the fault of blind, pointless fate, if you're inclined to think that way. There appears to be every reason to think that way, but what happens if you do? Mass murderers believe that the suffering attendant upon existence justifies judgment and revenge, as the Columbine boys so clearly indicated. So essentially what he's saying is if you don't have a purpose to live, then you're going to take it out on the world. That's pretty much what he's saying. One of the most vengeful murderers of the here's something one of the Columbine boys so clearly indicated. I will sooner die than betray my own thoughts. Before I leave this worthless place, I will kill whoever I deem unfit for anything, especially life. If you pissed me off in the past, you will die if I see you. You might be able to piss off others, and I have it eventually all blow over, but not me. I don't forget the people who wronged me. One of the most vengeful murderers of the 20th century, the terrible Karl Panzram, was raped, brutalized, and betrayed in the Minnesota institution responsible for his rehabilitation when he was a delinquent juvenile. He emerged enraged beyond measure. As burglar, arsonist, rapist, and serial killer, he aimed consciously and consistently at destruction, even keeping track of the dollar value of the property he burned. He started by hating the individuals who had hurt him. His resentments grew until his hatred encompassed all of mankind. And he didn't stop there. His destructiveness was aimed in some fundamental manner at God himself. There is no other way of phrasing it. Panzram raped, murdered, and burned to express his outrage at being. He acted as if someone was responsible. And the word being is capitalized, and it has been this whole time. That's important. The same thing happens in the story of Cain and Abel. Cain's sacrifices are rejected. He exists in suffering. He calls out to God and challenges the being he created. God refuses his plea. He tells Cain that his trouble is self-induced. Cain in his rage kills Abel, God's favorite, and, truth be known, Cain's idol. Cain is jealous, of course, of his successful brother, but he destroys Abel primarily to spite God. This is the truest version of what happens when people take their vengeance to the ultimate extreme. Panzram's response, and this is what was so terrible, perfectly understandable. The details of his autobiography reveal that he was one of Tolstoy's strong and logically consistent people. He was a powerful, consistent, fearless actor. He had the courage of his convictions. How could someone like him be expected to forgive and forget, given what had happened to him? Truly terrible things happen to people. It's no wonder they're out for revenge. Under such conditions, vengeance seems a moral necessity. How can it be distinguished from the demands for justice? After the experience of a terrible atrocity, isn't forgiveness just cowardice or lack of willpower? Such questions torment me. But people emerge from terrible pasts to do good and not evil, although such an accomplishment can seem superhuman. I've met people who managed to do it. I know a man, a great artist, who emerged from such a school as the one described by Panzram. Only this man was thrown into an innocent 5-year-old. What? Only this man was thrown into it as an innocent 5-year-old, fresh from a long stretch in a hospital where he had suffered measles, mumps, and chickenpox simultaneously, incapable of speaking the language of the school. Deliberately isolated from his family, abused, starved, and otherwise tormented, he emerged as an angry, broken young man. He hurt himself badly in the aftermath with drugs and alcohol and other forms of self-destructive behavior. He detested everyone, God, himself, and blind fate included. But he put an end to all that. He stopped drinking. He stopped hating, although it still emerges in flashes. He revitalized the artistic culture of his native tradition and trained young men to continue in his footsteps. He produced a 50-foot totem pole memorializing the events of his life in a canoe 40 feet long from a single log, of a kind rarely, if ever, produced now. He brought his family together and held a great potlatch with 16 hours of dancing and hundreds of people in attendance to express his grief and make peace with the past. He decided to be a good person and then did the impossible things required to live that way. I had a client who did not have good parents. Her mother died when she was very young. Her grandmother, who raised her, was a harridan, bitter and over-concerned with appearances. She was mistreated by her granddaughter, or she mistreated her granddaughter, punishing her for her virtues, creativity, sensitivity, and intelligence. Unable to resist, acting out of her resentment for an admittedly hard life on her granddaughter. She had a better relationship with her father, but he was an addict who died badly while she cared for him. My client had a son. She perpetuated none of this with him. He grew up truthful and independent and hardworking and smart. Instead of widening the tear in the cultural fabric that she inherited and transmitted, she sewed it up. She rejected the sins of her forefathers. Such things can be done. Distress, whether psychic, physical, or intellectual, need not all produce nihilism. That is the radical rejection of value, meaning, and desirability. Such distress always permits a variety of interpretation. All right, fools. What do y'all think here, man? Let's go down here. Dude, trying to find the top. Yeah, just off Matty Allen's Quant Gang, such a dope episode, informative. They've got massive amounts of value. Really good density of information. Completely agree. This is very true. That's one of the rules, 12 rules for life. Don't let your kids do anything that makes you hate them. That's right. You're in control at the beginning. Time always shows everybody's colors, all in due time. That's correct. And Davis is probably the most correct person here. Here's where YouTube bans my channel. Could be. But I'm going to get her. I got like 200 followers. So it's a little bit shy of 5,500, but we'll be good. Sadly, cloak and dagger within the community. I've been cyber bullied for a long time and had many try to hack me. Be careful, y'all. Trust no one. Don't tell somebody about the speck in their eye when you have a plank in yours. That's right, man. That's a good point. He says, "What woo fuckery is this?" I'm gonna turn this light on here. Can I even turn this damn thing on? Yeah, there we go. Got a little bit of light in here. Why you been hiding those pretty eyes from us whole time? I don't know, man. Asks pulsating hexgasm. I better close these eyes so you don't take a picture. What's this? Yeah, nice to see him without the shades. Yeah, you see me without the shades now. I forgot about that. You don't find this kind of community anywhere else. We got a great community, guys. I mean, what's your flavor? Pick your flavor. You got degenerates, you got gamers, you got philosophers, you got dumbasses like me. We got them all. What's this say? You're a true good man, Rags. You're one of the few I trust in the community. God bless you. God bless you, my friend. God bless you. Yeah, it's not deep for you, Davis, because you're a full-blown sociopath. We've known it. We still love you, even though it's actually, and you can't love us. It's impossible, right? Christ was abandoned when he took our sin on himself. Yeah, in a way. Who's he referencing? This is what I was just reading was this book. Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos. One of the most powerful books that you can read. I don't even know what ASMR dude is. I don't know what that is. No clue. What about the Nazis? You know what's crazy? Like, I was watching, it was probably, I don't know, 2 a.m. the other night. And I had been working on videos and content, this and that. And my brain was fried. So I go downstairs and I turn on these remastered World War II, all this remastered World War II footage, like on Netflix, etc. and one of the questions a lot of people ask is like, how could so many people buy into such a genocidal and crazy idea? And they ask the question as if that was the first time in history that it ever happened. But there really is some power in juju in groupthink. And you can see it everywhere. You see it around you now. It can take the shape of something that's very benevolent. It can take the shape of something very malevolent. But in extreme situations, if you don't check it, if it's a bad thing and you don't take care of it, that momentum can carry itself. And it's really, really hard to stop it later on. Carl Jung was a Swiss psychologist. He grew up in the 1800s and the early 1900s. And he was in Germany, and he was counseling people. He's a psychiatrist, clinical psychologist. And he said 10 years leading up to the Nazis, essentially, he knew, based on talking to these people, hearing what their dreams were, hearing their stories, he knew that something horrible was coming on the horizon. And it's because these seeds were planted in these people's heads. They had been planted in people's heads for 100 years. And Hitler was really seen as the Messiah, the one that was going to deliver. And nothing was done to stop it appropriately in the First World War. And that's probably because they just gave them the benefit of the doubt. The Second World War, we saw what happened. That's why it's so important to try to keep communication open, but you have got to talk softly but carry a damn big stick. 100%. All right, here's a PulseX question. Guys, if I sacrifice for PulseX, say $800 and hold for 2 to 3 years, is this a good idea? Oh, you could go buy an Xbox or a PlayStation or an Oculus Rift. Or you could buy like 5,000 Oculus Rifts in 2 to 3 years. I don't know. I'll let you decide. Maybe 35 years is better. Which book is it? 12 Rules of Life, An Antidote to Chaos, Jordan Peterson. What's this comment say? Becoming your own best friend and promising never to kill yourself and hope in the future. No matter how down your life is, you can become great if you stop being so selfish. You really do have to treat yourself like your own best friend. That is right. Because a lot of stuff comes with that. A lot of stuff kind of takes care of itself when you do that. You can become great, and it might not even be selfishness. It might just be self-awareness. A lot of people aren't that self-aware. There's a heavy weight of societal oppression that is being lifted right now. And this societal oppression has been happening for thousands and thousands of years. The most communicable thing in existence is an idea. And these ideas pass down generation after hundreds of generations. And right now we're at that point where communication is so free and so open. All that's kind of, it's taking a different shape. We're going in a different direction. I don't know. Do, 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 do. F the Nazis, they just scared little babies, want to look tough. I feel bad for the Nazis. I feel bad for the German people. The German people got sucked into it. It's an experiment that has happened over and over and over again. You feel sorry for the people, man. It is mass psychosis. It is. You're right. You're right about that. Surprised YouTube allowed that. Yeah, I'm surprised they did too. They might take it down afterwards. The algorithm's combing through this right now. Yeah, if you're open to suggestions, yeah. If you're as long as you're open to suggestions, then you should be good. You should be good, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the deal. I've got a video coming out tonight. Let me kind of talk to you about this. I'm full-time YouTube. I've been full-time YouTube for about 5 or 6 days now. All right. Coming out with content. I got a pretty cool announcement to make here pretty soon. And I want you guys to be a part of it. But my philosophy on creating content is I'm going to create content. I'm going to be very, very aware to try not to create content that just makes me look good. I want to create content that you guys can show up and listen to, get value out of it, and understand crypto. Because I know a lot of stuff that you hear just goes over your head. Now there's an audience for that, obviously. But if you come here, I'm going to try to break this down for you, and I'm going to try to teach you crypto when you're on my channel. And we can talk about anything. We're going to talk about everything. Looking forward to it. What's this question? Should I let go of my 10-year-old project car to invest instead? I can't make that decision for you, man. I cannot make that decision for you. But you should run some numbers. You should take a look. You should run some numbers on other projects that have done similar things. Look at the ROI and then figure out if that money pit that you've been sinking money into for the past 10 years is worth it or not. I don't know. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 1 hour and 2 minutes. I've got a video coming out. It'll come out later tonight, tomorrow. I'm going to talk about bridges. I'm going to break it down for you. If you guys have any questions about anything that I could explain to you, just hit me up, rags2richessquad.com. That's all my stuff. I also have a Patreon. I'm going to put that in the description and the link because now burn the bridge behind me and this is what we're doing, right? And all that money, here's the cool thing too. We did that Christmas drive. I've already got some plans in the works already. It's January for next December. So a large portion of this money is going to go towards that. And I basically want to 100x what we did this past year. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. All right. Folks, I'm out. You know the deal. You know the gig. We're going to take this out. Live long, prosper. Hit me up. See you on the flip side.